Okay, call the meeting to order. We begin with pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I understand we have some guests here this evening from the Southern Maine Veterans Memorial Cemetery Association. Is that right, gentlemen? And why don't you introduce yourselves?
My name is Ron Rivard. I am secretary of the Southern Maine Veterans Cemetery Association in Springvale. That's the Veterans Cemetery there. And we put in a request for a donation, and you graciously gave him one, so that's why we're here.
Okay.
I'm Brad Hoffman, I'm also a member on the association, and I'm really happy to be here and to have you people support.
I think we have the check here for you, gentlemen.
Step up. What I would like to do, okay, is get a picture, and I myself am in enough pictures, okay, so Brad is going to be in a picture accepting the check.
All right.
So I'd like for all the selectmen and the town manager to be in the picture.
Okay, where do you want us to set up?
Why don't we stand right in front of the table here? You want to get the camera, the flag behind?
Okay.
Let me go comb my hair first.
Oh, that's Jesus, he's been hollering at me all week. Don't forget to bring your comb.
I didn't tell him to bring his comb.
She's gonna give it to Brad, so.
Okay, Brad,
You got everybody?
right in the middle there. Let me see.
Is that right?
Gentlemen in the back, if you could shift, okay, you right there, okay? Okay, I think we get you right there. Okay.
Great, my hair look okay?
Do one more.
Photo bomb.
Yeah, there you go.
Gentleman with the hat.
He's gonna
Okay,
photo
if you
bomb.
Go to your,
There you go, yeah. He's
All
just
right,
a small
good.
guy, he doesn't.
gotcha, good.
Good.
Now, what I'd like to do is take a picture of, if you would be seated at your table, I'll take a picture of the table and I'll get your name.
Where are all these pictures going?
Okay, these pictures-
You know, actually, we have a monitor out in our entry, so
Oh,
when we have anything, we receive a check, things go
yeah,
out
the
there.
picture's gonna be on the, in the lobby at the cemetery.
Okay.
And, it's rotating, people come in and it'll come on and, your picture will come on. You look fine.
thanks.
Gentlemen, that's a photo.
I know.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank
And I
you.
should pass on something to you, on May 21st, we're doing a ride out of Irontail Saloon to benefit the cemetery. Actually, we're working on a POWMIA monument there. This one here is for beautification of the ground.
No,
We're doing-
no, this is for the monument.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
a private-
But this is a big fundraiser we're doing right now. To me, it's not just POWMIA, it's more the MIA. You know, POW is their home, they're gonna be buried here. The MIAs, they're never coming home. And on the outside of this stone is gonna be a place for those families that have never had a body return home, that they can have a memorial there for them. So they're gonna all be able to have their own mounted stone. Another good aspect in the cemetery we're working on is down where the flagpole is on both sides. Those people that have had loved ones buried at sea or buried in a foreign country or anything, they will finally have a place to have a stone out there where they can remember their families. So I think it's a lot of exciting work we're doing at the cemetery, and very happy a lot of you people are, receiving it well.
What time's the ride on the 21st?
We're kicking stands up at 11. We're having a ceremony at 10:30. But should be a lot of fun. We've got a lot of groups, the Little Sons, Patriot Riders, Rolling Thunder.
Sure.
So we've only put it out for a couple of days, and it's already been getting a
I'm
lot
sure.
of response.
Did you see that picture of the monument that we're raising money for? No.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is,
Can we keep
Yes.
this?
You can have that.
Okay, great.
That's what we're raising money for.
On the flip side is an example of what those outer stones are. Those are all for every conflict, major conflict the US has been in, with, you know, a depiction of what happened, you know, like D-Day for World War II, the helicopters and everything in Vietnam, and, you know,
Okay, great.
so. We're looking at
Thank you, gentlemen.
we're looking at $100,000 cost on the whole thing.
Thank you very much.
So far, we've got
Thank you.
32,000.
Great.
So,
Good.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for coming in.
Appreciate it.
Ron, thanks for coming. Appreciate it.
Okay, roll the agenda. Anything to add?
I have just one thing to move under new business, item B. I'd like to postpone that this evening. Jen had a family matter that came up, won't be here, so we're gonna schedule it for the 10th.
I'd like to add item D on committee and board reports, RSU 21 school board meeting.
Anything else?
Can you just repeat, Keith? So you've moved the budget meeting to the 10th?
No, I've moved the item B under new business,
Oh,
the
okay.
field fees and the user agreement.
Oh, okay,
Okay, motion to approve as amended.
So move.
In a second.
Second?
All in favor? Public forum. Not seeing a whole lot. Minutes of March 13th.
If someone has a change, I'd move to approve. Second?
Motion remains seconded to approve as submitted or prepared. All in favor? Committee boards report. Then we go to planning board meeting.
I didn't attend. Dan, did you go?
I did not.
I went, I don't know much. They had two public hearings. Right here, there we go. They had two public hearings. First one lasted 2 minutes. Second one went for Gary's Auto Salvage, conditional use renewal. No comments. Then the second public hearing was Holbrook Lane private way application. That lasted about 1 minute with no comments from anybody. And the pending application was for Gary's Auto Salvage, conditional use renewal, and that very minor discussion was approved. A new application for Holbrook Lane, a private way. After a small amount of discussion, that was approved. And then Branch Brook Fuel is applying to put in two 20,000 gallon fuel tanks above ground and one 10,000 gallon kerosene tank above ground. They talked about it quite a while, and they scheduled a site walk for April 13th, 6 p.m. Ledge Cliff Meadows subdivision was a pre-application for a change in the road location. They talked about that for 15 minutes and scheduled a site walk to be determined after the snow goes. And Model Land conditional use pre-application proposal, that went on for close to an hour, because they've been building stuff apparently down there that isn't on the plan, and there was a lot of discussion about that, and they're gonna schedule a site walk for 6 p.m. on the 20th to look at what's been done without permit, and, will they approve it, or have them take it apart?
So, just, you remember that motor lane, that's a different owner now, right? It's not the same owners that had it from Worcester County, right?
No.
No, that's different owner.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of discussion about, they split the lot,
Yeah.
and somebody said that now, the contractor that's doing the site work was there, and somehow he got them thinking that, the people that own the land do not own the new building. So now there's two owners on that property, and they're saying that becomes a subdivision. So they're trying to determine how many owners, is there one or more owners? They talked about that for a long time. And, after all that discussion, they scheduled a site walk. And at that time, it was 9/18, and they went on to discuss the shoreland zoning change, and I left. So I don't know what that happened to that.
Thanks for that, Phil. Budget board,
Yes, we met 2 weeks ago, obviously here, and trying to wrap up different pieces of the budget. Both boards looked at some of the background information or notes that I put to some of the town warrants, and wanted to have better explanation, which I'll provide for further discussion this Wednesday. Because of the substantial increase in the school budget, there was thoughts of revisiting parts of the municipal side once again, along with the potential of adding another $100,000 to our from fund balance for the revenue piece. So instead of generally having a $200,000 fund balance donation, thinking about putting it to $300,000. And then they've asked Roger to come back Wednesday night to discuss the 5-year capital improvement plan for the roads. His thoughts about a reduction in the roads as road cost as a result of some thoughts that were being bounced around on the table. So Roger will be in to talk with everybody then. As well as the fire department will be back for their final review on their three budgets, the fire department's, the call budget, EMT to per diem budget, and the capital budget. The other thing that you folks asked me to look at, which I have done, was the limitations, and I'll provide you a memo on Wednesday night with the limitations as to what the utility TIF funds could be specifically used for. It is identified within the TIF document, and it's pretty specific as to what it's going to be used for. So we can go over that a little bit on Wednesday night, but that's what I have for the budget at this point.
okay. Next item on the committee and board reports was a meeting with Arundel Conservation Trust members, and Dan and I and Keith met with those members, what was it, last Thursday?
Yeah.
Last Thursday, we had an initial meeting and kind of outlined what we were going to do moving forward. I took on the task of trying to draft together some document that hopefully I'll have prior to the next meeting, which is on the 5th or something, right?
Yeah, I believe it's the first Wednesday of the month of April, I believe.
5th, right, yeah. And see what we can do from there. So we just had some preliminary discussions about how it would work, and didn't come to any real decisions about anything at this point in time. So once I get that, circulated to everybody, we can start chopping it up and see what makes some sense. And Dan, you got RSU 21.
I do. All right. First item were consent agenda items.
Nomination of Kyle Keenan, new principal for Mildred Day School. He comes from Biddeford, salary of $101,500. Nomination of Jane Matheson, Latin teacher and power school scheduler at the Kennebunk High School, $74,630. Nomination of Karen Moore, part-time IB Spanish teacher at Kennebunk High School, $37,515. Nomination of Jacqueline Holmes, teacher of alternative education at Kennebunk High School, $36,771. And then a resignation of Sarah Young, English teacher at Kennebunk High School. All those consent agenda items passed. Uni did a presentation. Apparently they've been working with the RSU on a articulation agreement. And what that allows is for students to, if they pass AB or IB exams, it allows them to get some credit. So that's a pretty nice thing. Budget reading, I won't go into the details of the budget but the big details, but Matt Fadiman did a 56-page PowerPoint presentation, did a pretty good job. But the bottom line is simply 6.5% is what the budget's going up for the RSU. The operating budget itself changed by 3.41%. So for the Arundel residents, that is a, let's see, for $100,000 of evaluation, the change is $82. So for every $100,000 worth of evaluation, it's an $82 increase. Significant, it's huge. But a lot of stuff here, a lot of information. I can answer some specific questions if anybody has anything. I'm pretty sure that this is gonna be on their website at some point in time. I think the second reading is, I got a timeline back here. So on Wednesday, April 12th, they will have a public forum from 6 p.m. at the elementary school. This is to go over the budget. On Monday, April 24th is the second reading of the budget, and then they've got a district meeting, yay or nay, on Tuesday, May 16th, and then the validation is June 13th. So that's that for the budget. Anybody got any questions on that?
What was the name of the principal?
Kyle Keenan.
Cal Keenan?
Kyle Keenan.
Kyle Keenan.
Yeah, young guy, was very nice. He comes from Biddeford, very well respected. So should be pretty good.
Dave, has there been any talk about, it seems like every time we bring up construction on any of the buildings that are currently going on, they always say ahead of schedule, ahead of funds.
Yep.
Is there any talk as to what happens with that? I mean, if they stay on track, what happens to that extra money that's not being spent?
I don't know. Not sure what that would have to be if we took out if we did a long-term bond and it was less, what happens with that?
Just go back to the kitty or something, or you just end up, you have to spend it anyway?
If you borrow money and you sign a note,
It's yours.
that's what you're gonna be paying.
Yeah.
And that, you're paying the bonding company or the bank at that point in time. Now, I don't know what's built into this contract, with the representative of the contracts that we have here in terms of whether they get, sometimes they've got built into contracts, penalties for being late, but you get incentives for being early, so that could be part of the process, who knows?
One of the things that I did bring up, they talked about, the 8 buses that they're gonna buy through, and they've got some grant through the EPA. And I asked about, what are they gonna do with the old buses? And the agreement with the EPA is the reason that they're getting the grant is because these newer buses are much more efficient, and the old buses are to be basically scrapped. They can't sell them to anybody, they can't, not that they'd probably be worth a lot, but in any case, they can't do anything with those buses except scrap them. That's the agreement with the EPA for them to get that money for those buses.
Maybe a little stuff.
So, There was, I don't know if you remember a while back, there was a discussion about pre-K, doing some pre-K stuff. Apparently there's a procedure error in how they discussed that. So they're gonna bring that back to the board to, to get some final discussions on that. There was an individual of the board at the time that said that it was mandated by the state. That board member misspoke, and it, at that point it killed discussion, and there was some pretty irate board members about that. So they're gonna bring that back up to the front and rediscuss that. Obviously, we all know about the snow day issues, so Katie is working on putting together a plan. She'll have the final decision by April 1st on what they're gonna do. Basically, right now, they're currently up to 7 days for the K through 11. They've had 7 snow days. The RSU has 2 days more than what the state requirement is in their schedule. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna use a Friday before April vacation. That was gonna be a no student, so they're gonna do kind of bring some kids in on that day, and then the board is gonna waive 1 day, and they'll still be within the requirements. For seniors, obviously they can't move graduation. Graduation is set for June 11th. So she's gonna move a late start, and then the senior intern presentations are gonna have those in the evening, and they're gonna get credited for time to be able to make up that. Let's see. New business, they've been approached by Dayton School to accept some students at MSK. And right now they're looking at possibly 3 to 5 students. And that would be per student. The board, the RSU would receive $9,600 per student. So they made a motion to accept that public tuition from Dayton. And again, at any point in time, they can say, no, we don't want it, but right now they're allowing those students to come in. So that'll be a little bit of extra revenue for that. Nomination, we have one that is due. Mary Beth is due for the town of Arundel. So she's running again. And let's see, we adjourned around 9:45.
Thanks, Dan. Don't we have?
Down the managers.
I know, but don't we have Roger here for?
Roger's here under new business, under weight limits and paving bids.
Yeah, I don't think I printed out the second agenda.
Okay.
Anybody object to taking up Roger's issues?
No, I was gonna ask if we could do that.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Mountain Road, Roger. Weight limitations you want eliminated.
We discussed it once before, and when we pull the seasonal postings on, it doesn't make a lot of sense. We're redirecting some traffic. FedEx has called me numerous times for permits just to cross that road to make a delivery. It doesn't get a lot of truck traffic. I'm removing that sign because we send all of our trash over it. Plus we operate out of there as well, get deliveries and everything, but obviously it can't very well, when the seasonal postings are on, send somebody over to the Bedford side, Bedford off it. The problem lies is when you come up the mountain road from Bedford, say the spur, with a truck, and you get to the Arundel line, there's a 15-ton weight limit on that road. Well, what they should do, what they don't always do is turn around up the old outfit and go back out, but it's been a problem in the past. Bedford said they'd allow us to put a sign up, posted road ahead, X number of feet, miles, whatever. To me, it would just make sense. I think the road would handle it. I don't believe we're gonna get any extra truck traffic over it because of it. We could pull those 15-ton signs and not hurt our road.
Any questions, anybody?
Don't think you're gonna generate more traffic there because it's not gonna be a shortcut for anybody really. I mean, if they're going to Limerick Road, depending on which side they're going, I don't see them using any increase in that by doing this, so.
It's not a great truck route anyway.
Yeah, it's curvy, it's...
So if nobody objects, I'd move that we allow Roger to pull the posters off. You still do your spring posting, right?
Yeah, which, who knows when those are coming on, the way things are right now.
No, but I mean,
Yeah, when we pull
Mountain
the
Road
straight
would be
posting off,
included.
we pull the 15-ton off at the same time. But usually I mean, last year, they were off the 1st of April.
Yeah.
It's not happening this year. It's got a dry up lot. Probably close to the middle of April. That can change quick, so who knows?
Need a second Phil's motion?
Second.
Any further discussion or questions? All in favor then? Okay. Okay, how much is paving costing us, Roger?
Well, I think we did rather well. We got 2 bids. Like the Dayton. Dayton's last year's price was $66 a ton. This year they're at $61.88. Pike split their bid a little bit. They were $60 a ton for base material, and for the surface, shim and surface material, 65. So, where the hell is our sheet? I had a cheat sheet that broke it all down. There it is. Blue papers. The amount of base material, total tonnage was like 5,163 tons. Out of that, the base was only like 500 tons. There's only 2 small projects. Maybe afterwards, tonight there won't be. But anyway, Dayton's price comes in with shoulders, base and everything. They were 344, 822. Pike was 364, 991. So there's a overall about 20 grand difference. Pike's numbers didn't add up with what I put in there as far as footage for shoulder gravel. Dayton's still doing it for about 55 cents a foot. Pike's price was $70 a foot. And that varies so much from road to road. Because when you measure it, you're measuring the length of pavement. Then you go back if you want to take out this driveway, that driveway, add it all up. Dayton, I think in the future I'll change the way I do it and just add for cubic yard price for material used on the shoulders. It's tough, and probably we're one of the few that ask for per foot price on it. So it's hard to compare apples to apples, but at least that way. But Dayton gave us a real good price. So that would be my recommendation.
And you got a decent relationship with Dave, though.
We have a very good relationship with Dayton, and what I'd like to do at that point when we negotiate this contract is have the ability to negotiate for the next 5 years like we did the last time. That works really well. There's an escalator in both of these prices, so if something goes crazy, it's in there. You can't get payment now without one, regardless of who it
You're
is.
not gonna get away without it
Yeah.
anymore.
I mean, those days have
Fuel
long gone.
prices fluctuate too much.
The last time we had one that did not have a escalator in it was 2005, and we had no payment in that year. Because Pike held us a ransom. The good news in all this is what I actually budgeted this stuff for, 5,163 tons, was at $70 a ton. At 61.88, there's a substantial savings there. There's a savings of $41,923. So I imagine somebody will get their fingers into that Wednesday night.
How much, 41 what?
41,923.66 is the difference between budgeted price and actual price if nothing goes wrong with our $61.88.
And with Roger, Dayton, you don't have to come behind them and deal with the shoulders, they do it.
They do it.
Yeah.
The time frame is, you know, they don't come and do it the next day.
Right.
You wouldn't want it done
Yeah.
the next day. There's a gap. I wished it was better,
Yeah.
but last summer, there were so many good pavement days that we didn't see them for quite a while. Pike wouldn't be any better. They're not gonna come and put
Yeah.
gravel shoulders on when it's a prime pavement day. That's a fill-in day, a rainy day. If it's not pouring, they'll come and do it. Or if if they get caught up on projects, they'll come, they did some piecemeal for me last year. They're real flexible, pretty good to work with. And if you have a problem with digging, you can walk in and talk to the owner, try that with pipe.
I'll make a motion that we go ahead with Dayton.
And can you add to your motion the ability to negotiate with Dayton for the next 5 years?
Is that?
Can that be added to that same motion?
Yeah, and I
Just
think
give
it was
Roger the
part,
authority to do
I
that.
think it was part of the bid, I think we indicated.
Well, the
that.
last time we did it, it was actually in the contract that we negotiated with them, for the ability to negotiate. That's in every year's housekeeping articles as well with the, in the town meeting warrant, so you have that ability to do that.
Yep.
One of the other little flies in this whole thing, and luckily the prices came the way they did. If you got your motion second and want to
I'll
discuss this
second.
anymore,
Go ahead.
is in our spec, we ask for all virgin material in the mix, no reclaim. Some of these guys are using up to 35% on certain jobs of reclaimed asphalt in the mix. And to get the amount of asphalt cement that you need, which is somewhere around almost 6%, they're getting it artificially through old mix. And Pike claimed that their bid was all on virgin material, but Pike doesn't make, or anybody else make, material specific for you that day. It's gonna be in the silo, and whatever they made is what you're gonna get. There's no way to chase your tail to get back to find out just what you got. Even if you had testing, it's gonna show asphalt content that's acceptable. So, there's no question with that with Dayton, because they don't use any. The way their plant set up, they can't, it just screws up the part of the plant in the pug mill and messes it up. So you're getting all virgin material, and that adds to the life of the paper. Regardless of what these other guys tell you, whatever was mixed that morning, sitting in a silo, if it's, you know, the 9.5 millimeter or whatever it is, size, the biggest stuff like 17 millimeters base over new construction. But you got no way to test it. Even if you have a lab, go do testing, Gillespie, anybody. They're gonna test it for asphalt content, and it's gonna be there. But it's not the same.
So we've got a motion, and a second to approve the Dayton bid, with authorization for Roger to negotiate a 5-year contract, if that's.
That's what my second was.
Yep. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Any further discussion or questions of Roger? All in favor then? So be it.
Thank you, folks.
Thanks, Roger.
Wednesday night I'll be back, and part of this payment thing, that will come up as far as the difference. But if I can get it plugged in now. One of the projects that's on the chopping block, if that falls out of this 5-year plan, it doesn't come back in for another 4 or 5 years afterwards. And I know paving budgets don't have names and faces. We could surely get them here if you'd like. But if that falls out of the process, 5 years from now, it might be paved, but not before that, because next year there's an increase in the money, so it's hard for me to sit here and tell you that I absolutely gotta have all of that money. I know we're gonna lose some. It's the way it came in. We're saving money on the bid. We get a good price. But if that project, then it's Curtis Road. The problem with that Curtis Road is there's only 2 people that have legal access to get out the other side. Regardless of who's going to see who and when they're going to see him. They're not driving up and around the way they're supposed to. That's none of my business. But for people to cut this and say nobody's using that anyway, we went through staff review and everything for that last section of that over there. There's only 2 people that are supposed to use the Downing Road side of that. Everybody else is supposed to go out the other way.
That's a messed up situation.
You know, someday that's gonna change, and someday it'll open up. Somebody's gonna come along, the last I knew they weren't making any more land. There's a lot of it out there. Somebody with deeper pockets than me will come along and do something. like to see that project get done. And if they get some of that money, there's still almost 70 grand left in reserve. If this fund gets cut by that 40,000, probably not gonna be enough to do that total project. They, what I heard was they wanted to eliminate it, that was 70 grand.
Right.
If it's 70 grand, it doesn't get done. If it's 40, I can still get it done. But I would like to see that happen. We'll see where it goes Wednesday
Let's see
night.
what else, yeah.
The budget board wants to cut it. They're the ones who brought it up.
Some
There's some
members.
members on the board that.
Yeah, they brought it up as a discussion
Yeah.
point, because they're
Yeah.
looking at trying to curb some cost. And it seemed like one of the things that they thought that resonated with a few of the members, so I gave Roger a heads up, so he'd be prepared. And
No one ever wants to see a road that doesn't go in front of their house get paved anyway. Oh, we can save money, let's cut that one.
But I mean, there may be some flexibility there with a reduction based on the price of the pavement this year. What I fear is, and I'll do an analysis for Wednesday night, what I fear is that what we have for going forward, I don't wanna short ourselves in the amount of money that we set aside to do our work, because we've been pretty consistent about 450, which even though when the project come in more than 450, we have some money left over. As in this case, we have about 72,000 that remains in the account as a result. But as we move forward, we've got bigger projects, more money to be used. So we gotta look at that and make sure that we have enough to cover it as we move forward.
Why do you wanna do the curves for?
Why?
Yeah,
It's a maintenance nightmare.
okay, I mean, I think that's what you gotta bring to
Yeah,
the table.
yeah.
We gotta know why, I mean, if it is, then we gotta address it.
There's a lot of people that live up there that don't go out and smooth it up when it gets rough, like some other dirt roads in town.
I mean, it'd be nice if you could, put together that, you spent X amount of hours maintaining it. I know it's probably difficult.
Over
but
an average, I mean, last year we spent a lot, and that I thought was the last gasp, and I upsized some culverts that were in there because we had a problem with getting rid of some water in there. So everybody there was pretty gracious to deal with, we set back a fence so we could cut some slopes back. So I think it's ready now. If we pave it, we're not gonna have a problem later.
If we had, a torrential downpour or something, then you'd probably be back down over there trying to fix it up, right?
If we had that, we'd have some other roads that would be an issue too, so.
I'm sure, but, it would be one less road that you would,
Yeah.
if it was paved. that you
There
would-
was an issue every time we had heavy rain, where the way that field is with the little gullies in it, that drains out into our ditch line, so. I think we've addressed that, it should be fine now. But again, that is the only legal entrance.
Yeah.
Access to the bulk of people that live on that road. Some of them are going out the other way right now.
We have only 2 dirt roads in Arundel, right?
Days Mills Road was done a couple of years ago. That was a little narrow cow path that we put a turnaround in, and thank God you can actually plow it now. There is no plan to pave the last dirt road, which I think everybody here knows where it is.
That's why somebody spends a lot of money taking care of it.
It stays pretty good if you keep the riffraff out from going,
We've got a lot of it calmed down.
yeah.
We've had the sheriff up there, we've had the Bedford cops up there, 'cause that dirt road joins into Bedford.
Oh, it does?
It does, it goes right into Bedford.
Oh, okay.
And, the biggest problem we were having up there was on the Bedford end. So I knew a couple of the Bedford cops and went over and talked to them, and they spent some time in there and they helped clean it up quite a bit. And we don't have a lot of problems now. I'd say it's probably cut by at least 60–70%.
Does that, you can't get into it from Bedford, can you?
No,
Yeah, okay, yeah.
no, they blocked it off. Bedford closed their end off.
They did.
CMP did an upgrade to that line up through there a few years ago, and they destroyed that road.
Yeah,
And somebody took it on the nose for that. I got into the conversation and said, what do you wanna do? Do you want me to deal with them? No. Okay. And he fixed it. I can't remember who that was.
I don't remember who it was either, but DEP was all over them.
Yeah, somebody that was working for the CMP, the power company.
Yeah. And you couldn't drive a vehicle through that road after they worked on it. And the lady that was in charge of environmental control
Very gracious.
Stood right there.
She was no lady.
and watched a contractor repair that whole road. And when it was all done, she picked up her phone, called DEP, said, come down here, these guys are online.
Adding gravel to a dirt road is out of line.
Yeah,
What else are you supposed to do?
Oh, check dam, silk fences, the whole 9 yards.
yeah,
The whole thing is gravel, there's no real ditches per se. So it wasn't like it was getting into the ditch and running away. On top of that, it's a dirt road. And they're the ones that destroyed it.
and when they got through, there were people living up there, they couldn't come out in the morning to go to work.
Yeah.
Something had to be done.
We
And the
couldn't go out.
contractor, the CMP people said,
Ain't our problem.
it's a town road, we got permission to be here.
Now, where was that just like where it curves off and go?
That was, the flat stretch, just before you go up that little hill.
Yeah.
There's a flat stretch along there. You couldn't drive a car through there if you had to, after they got
You
done.
barely get through there with a pickup truck. Pull it on a pickup truck. They destroyed it.
All right, well, see you Wednesday.
Yeah.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so we're back to the manager's report.
You might want me for that too.
The action events.
Yeah, we had a couple, events that have occurred. I think I, let you know about the, police cruiser, being in an automobile accident. We have not heard back, from what I can understand. He was, in Biddeford getting the car cleaned, got a call up route, on 111, multiple car accident, was on his way up. As you get to the last, on Route 111, just before you leave Biddeford, on the last set of lights, a gentleman came out of the firehouse sub area that moved and T-boned the car. So, we understand all the airbags would accept one deployed in the car. I spoke to Deputy Chief Barron today. The adjusters there, they still don't have a status on whether the car will be totaled. So it's just a wait and see. Right now, our contract deputy is using a spare car that the sheriff's department has for these types of incidences. So it's just a wait and see. The other incident we had was the major snow event we had, last Wednesday? Yeah. We had one of our trucks, smaller trucks, an operator cleaning up the intersection of New Road, 111, and Old Alfred Road. Evidently, he was pushing the snowbanks back, cleaning the intersection. A car came up behind him to the intersection in his blind spot. When he went to back up, that car was there. Struck the rear door on the car. No damage to our vehicle. but I just got the estimate today, which I'll need to go over with you. They estimate $1,900 worth of damage to her car as a result of that. So now that it's at 1,900, it's a reportable accident, so I'll have to get the sheriff's department back involved to make sure we do the report. And because it's $900, we have a $1,000 deductible in our insurance policy, so I'll submit it to the insurance company for review as well. So that's all I have. Both of them, you know, I think the accident with the highway department, I often wonder where people's common sense is when you have a truck in an intersection, cleaning the intersection, is pushed by in front of you, and you back, and you drive up behind it, and then there's an expectation that somebody sees you. I've seen it time and time again in a variety of locations, so I'm fortunate that it happened, but those are the two that we have.
Was that on the Wonder resident?
No. The person who owns the car, I had a phone call from him. He is the chairman of the Dayton Board of Selectmen. And he gave me a jingle, indicated it was his car. I told him to get an estimate. He emailed me the estimate today. So we'll go from there.
Just meant to insurance, huh?
Yeah, that's all we'll do.
Yeah, Michelle was straight down. It was a 16-year-old girl driving that with somebody with her. She wasn't supposed to have anybody with her, so I don't know what the conversation was in the car.
Yeah.
My guy got out of the truck, walked back to make sure everybody's okay, and her passenger got out and walked off, left. Came back later. The first words out of the driver's mouth to our guy was, "I'm not supposed to have anybody with me, don't tell anybody." He says, "I'm not lying to you, honey." So our deputy handled it, and he had quite a chat with her. I don't know if she got a summons or what her status was.
I'm not quite sure. I talked to Greg as well. He provided me an accident, some of the accident report, but didn't say that he cited anybody at that time.
I would really love to be able to schedule these events so you could plan around traffic, but man, that is went crazy in the section. I come through there with a full-size truck, make the swing, go down to Hamden Place and come back out. We got a small truck. Clean it for that reason, for visibility and mobility. Trying to clean those with big trucks is just, but that is just one hellacious spot.
It is, absolutely. We travel that daily, all day long, and it's probably one of the worst intersections in town.
Yeah. You know, in terms of the complaints that we received through snowplow operations this year, they're very minimal. You know, after the snow events, I usually try to go down and just talk with Roger to see how things went, you know, and usually when they see me walk in, how many mailbox complaints did you get today, or something like that. And generally, I have received no mailbox complaints, but I did receive a complaint with a gentleman, evidently he must have been bent down or something, and when the truck came by, he stood up and got a pant full of snow.
There's a little more to it than that.
Oh, okay. So he
After
was
the
a
road
little,
was plowed and his driveway's all done. And I told everybody before, if you see snow in the road, because they complain, you mess up their driveway after they get cleaned. There's still snow on the road, we're gonna be back from it. It's our job to get it out of the road, but he didn't want the truck going by and loading his driveway, so he stood right at the end of his driveway. So the truck had to go out around him.
okay.
It's just like parking your car at the end of your driveway, so that
You
people
got-
don't load your driveway up.
I guess he got a little
All
bit
the
of
time.
snow on him, so he would, the story that I received that I transferred to Roger, and I know he followed up.
He called me as well, so.
Was that, you know, he tried to put snow all over me, you know, so. Now we're finding out the rest of the story, so, anyway, but, other than that,
We got a couple individuals on Clearview Estates that as soon as he goes by with the sand truck, get out there with brooms and sweep the area. Cause they don't like
I know who
sand in the
that is.
driveways. You know who they are.
Oh.
Went to the,
Thank you, Roger.
thanks, Roger.
Yeah, what is it like?
Went to the meeting in Bangor, reference to, the retail, marijuana law that we're, into grips with as the legislature. I found it very informative. I was surprised as to some of the information they were providing to us, that they feel in 2 years that this will be, the second most productive, businesses in the state of Maine, probably producing close to $300 to $350 million in revenue. Lobstering is first at $480 million. They're indicating that we're gonna see a bunch of big businesses that are gonna get involved in this. This is gonna be a big business item. So they're really encouraging proper regulations at the county, at the town level, in addition to whatever the state has for regulations, so we can ensure that that we locate these places properly. Some of the things that were thrown out were, how many feet from education facilities, residential facilities, things to that nature. They got right into the packaging of these edible materials that they'll have, that'll be for sale. The importance of making sure that those packages are really defined differently. There was one scenario that a person indicated that his child picked up a Reese's cup and thought it was actually a Reese's cup, and it ended up being an edible. And they looked the same. They're almost identical from the pictures they were showing. So I got an education, which I thought I knew something about marijuana. I know nothing about that business, nothing at all. So I'll sit down with the planner and probably make an opportunity to sit with the planning board and just provide them the information that I've received, the thoughts that these folks have provided to us and that kind of thing. So one anecdote, I'll just give it to you real quick, which was mind-boggling for me. And I think you all can relate to it. There was a police officer from Falmouth that was providing how the police department is going to be able to use detections for these things. He reaches into his pocket, pulls out a baggie full of gummy bears, and which were edibles, marijuana edibles. And he says, "You remember when you were a young kid? It was a keg of beer, maybe a couple cases of beer to have a good time at a party. This is all they need." And then he sticks it back in his pocket. So that's how concealed and how easy it is for these people to have this stuff. So it was educational. I'm happy I went.
And any discussion on when we can expect the legislation to come out with anything?
Well, they've provided themselves some flexibility to what was it, November of 2018? Or was it February 2018? They've given themselves flexibility to February of 2018 as the legislation begins. Similar to what we get with the legislative bulletins that we're provided here, there'll be some they'll have the bills written out, there'll be discussion. I'm sure there'll be a lot of hearings on this stuff as they work their way through it.
Because the planning board really can't do much until something comes out from the state, right?
Right, well, I think they can start thinking about it, maybe talking about zones that they think are appropriate.
Yeah.
Even the state doesn't know if it's gonna fall under alcohol and lottery department. I can't remember they call it BABLO, I guess, or the Department of Agriculture, which Ag would like to have BABLO take care of it. So there are issues there that they're still trying to flush out. Just wanted to he indicated with the new retail marijuana law, he indicated what 2.5 ounces look like, and then the police officer said, and by the way, 54 drug sniffing dogs that were purchased by the state or municipalities are now no longer in use for us because marijuana is legal. And so those dogs that, in a lot of cases, you know, $8,000 to $20,000 have been spent on these animals to train them, to buy them, and to house them, is no longer useful to us. So, just some anecdotes to the whole thing, but I found it interesting.
I think they're using those dogs, that's what I see.
I see York is trying to ban it totally. Don't-
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, I think their route is that. I'm not quite sure if, unless there's a, you know, change in the law, it's the lay of the land at this point. And I think that, I think we need to be prepared that, you know, you're gonna have professional people that come in, fill out an application, start a business, it's not gonna be a mom and pop thing. I think it's gonna be more
Good tax revenue.
a larger, gentlemen, they had a city manager from Colorado that was there, explaining, showed pictures of a retail marijuana establishment in Colorado where he is, and it looked like you were walking into a Verizon to buy a phone. It was set up like that, it was well done. So, I don't think you're gonna see, you know, the lights are dark and you gotta sort of slum yourself in. I think it's gonna be highly visible, well-regulated, products now that will be reviewed by, FDA, you know, or in our case, the local, state authorities, because one of the things that the attorneys were talking about, which I never gave them a lot of thought for, a judge, provides an oath to uphold the state, laws and the Constitution, as well as federal laws. And it's a violation of federal law. And a lot of the judges are gonna have to find their way through that whole maze, and part of their responsibility is federal law, so. Those are some of the growing things I think we're gonna experience as this thing,
We have any applications for that yet?
No, we've had some inquiries. I've had some people from New Hampshire contact me, indicating what the town of Arundel was going to do, and I indicated that we've spoken about it. There's no legislation, there's nothing that we can do, there's no laws that have been established yet for us to work under. We're gonna wait and go along when the state puts something in the act. So nobody has sort of given us or tried to give us an application, and right now we refuse an application. We're not prepared for it at all.
Well, surrounding towns around us have got moratoriums on that stuff.
Yes, they have. Some have. Some have taken that. To me, I think that's a little premature.
Yeah.
I think, you're gonna work out you could get your 180 days over with in a short amount of time and not have any legislation.
Yeah, the state, right, I think we did the right move, when the state comes out with their thing, we can make a decision then.
Right.
And then let the planning board go work it out.
Can you legally refuse an application?
I think so.
You can't get a license
Yeah,
to operate in these businesses, you gotta get it from the state.
yeah.
They're not handing out any, so
Yeah,
Right.
you can't open up one of these shops. I mean, you can put a building up, I guess, in anticipation that,
yeah.
but
From a retail standpoint, you're talking.
right,
Yeah. What about the growing?
you still can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the growing was just unbelievable. They were showing facilities, 480,000 square foot facilities in Canada that are growing, marijuana, 3 tiers inside these buildings, growing this stuff, in all anticipation of, being able to sell at a retail level.
I got a building on my way that's all of a sudden popped up. Have you seen it? Have you recognized it? It's got like all of a sudden out of nowhere, all the windows have been taken out, sheathed over, and now there's those Mitsubishi, like mini split air handlers, like 6 down each side of the building, 2 big cisterns on the outside. I'm like,
Is it a medical marijuana
It's,
facility?
that's why I asked you if there was any permits, because it's gotta,
Haven't seen any.
you're not growing blueberries, I can,
No.
huh? Yeah, on the end of Limerick Road. On the left. Take a look at that next time you go by.
I haven't even noticed it.
Every morning, there's a truck backed up to the door that's got like a 500-gallon, like, liquid storage container in the back, and then when I go home at night, there's a different truck with the same storage thing in the back. So it's gotta be some sort of chemical exchange or something.
Interesting.
I wondered if there was anybody that had pulled the permit to. They're not doing a good job to conceal it, because it's obvious.
Right. They said that generally, you know, if you wanna know if there's a grow, facility anywhere, just get a hold of an electric bill, and that will definitely tell you what's going
Oh,
on.
I can't imagine what's costing to run those.
You got a ham radio operator nearby, because I guess the lights create an awful lot of static on ham radios.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've heard that.
I'll tell you, go in Napa over in Biddeford one day, and there's a plant over there, and every now and then they'll back flush that system, and it's like, wow. Good God, I'd hate to be inside the building.
Yeah, they have, ventilation is a big issue along with a lot of these, facilities, but I think as they continue to refine their products, I think people, you know, there must be a need for it, it passed. You know, whether or not people knew what they were voting for, you know, that's still a crapshoot, you just don't know. If they were voting for it because they were 2.5 ounces and you'd be legal to be able to carry 2.5 ounces and not, you know, be under arrest.
Reminds me of another major vote we had in November that passed.
See, nomination papers?
Yeah, nominated papers are out, ready to be signed and picked up. Just wanted to go over what we had for openings.
We had, there was what, budget board too, right?
We have, one position open for a 3-year term in the Board of Selectmen.
Yeah.
We have one position for a 3-year term on Regional School Unit 21.
Yeah.
We have, 2 positions for 3-year terms on the Budget Board, and 1 position for a 2-year term on the Budget Board. So we've been short on the Budget Board for a while. Nomination papers are due back to Simone by the 28th of April, by the close of business on that day, that's Friday. A minimum of 25 signatures of registered or written voters is required to qualify to have your name on the ballot.
I'm gonna read that couple of papers out for the school board.
She's a good asset over there, right?
I think she's doing a good job, yeah. She's the chair this year.
See, I think I already provided this to you, to the chair, but the town report, information is due back to Simone by the 21st of, Friday, April 21st is the deadline. I think I gave, the selectmen's to Velma, so she has an idea of what to do, and then we have a bunch of others that, we need to get done. So, Simone will graciously begin to nudge everybody, I'm sure, as we move this to get that done. So that's all I have on the manager's report.
She looking for photos for the cover?
She didn't say. Why, you have some photos?
Well,
you'd
no,
like to
I
use?
suggested that we go talk to, what's his name there, up at Case Butter, and take a picture up top of the hill looking out that way. I think that'd be a nice picture to show all the rolling fields and, you know, that's a hell of a view up there.
Yeah,
We'll go with the dairy barn there, on the Case Butter, that might block some of it, but.
No, the barn doesn't block
No?
very, very little, if any,
Yeah.
of the view.
Wonder if we could talk to Chris and get up there and, the house there or something. and take a
Probably
nice
wanna talk
picture.
to, Luke. That's
right,
Luke's house.
That's right, Luke's living there, yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I think it's a night, I'll go this time of year now with the snow, you know, who knows, but I mean, that's just an unbelievable view up there.
Is it really?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Oh, wow.
Pretty view.
You could see Mount Washington from his roof.
Yeah.
On
You
a
see
clear
Mount
day.
Washington, you
Yeah.
see Mount Agamenticus, you can see,
Yeah.
Field Hills, and there's
Oh,
another,
yeah.
yeah.
And,
That's
and
pretty-
we did site work over there, and I never went up on the, in the house, but just from ground level,
Yeah.
it's an amazing view,
No kidding.
yeah.
That's kinda nice.
And from the top of the house, I guess, it's a lot better.
Just a thought.
Okay, let me just write it down.
Okay, so under new business, we've already taken care of the first 4 items. Moves on to liquor license renewal for Vinegar Hill Music Theater.
Yes, I have an application, I believe I provided copies within your packet, I have the original here. They've been before you before, I think, and have held the mandatory public hearing requirement to this. This is now a renewal. The ACO, the CEO has reviewed this and has signed off on it. I would entertain a motion and a second to approve the application for Vinegar Hill Music Theater.
How did they do last year? You know how they, I know it was new for them to do this last year.
They had some quality entertainment.
Yeah, I'm told that they did very, very well. I've gone there a couple times and it was sold out,
Me too.
and they put on some really nice shows.
Great.
The couple of times that I went, it was a really good show. And I think they're sold out almost every event.
Not a bad seat in the house.
No kidding.
Yeah.
It really is not.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Good
It's just so it's a really small venue, and so,
Yeah.
I mean, you're right there, and the entertainers are,
Did they change that much from when it was the Playhouse, or I haven't?
I don't think the interior of the barn, where, I don't think they did that, but now they got this, well, for what they need this for, they've got a lawn area where they have a bar, and set up, it's pretty
Yeah.
nice.
So a nice intimate
Good.
And, you know,
evening, and
right.
you're right there.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Good. I make a motion, we accept
Second.
this license renewal.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? I have to recuse myself. I have a conflict.
Okay. I will send this down and you don't sign it.
I will send it.
Where do we sign that? Up here?
Right there, so.
Right up here?
That's Mender.
I used to live at 133 West Street. 132.
No, right there, signatures and
Oh,
all this,
okay.
office.
The next one.
Okay, right
And
there.
purchase.
So, which one? Each side of the street or downtown Bedford?
27.
Like at the market?
Right, West Street Motors, further up.
Oh, by the cemetery.
Yeah, yeah, a little bit past that. Just,
Oh,
it's right near the, trailer park.
Just up in there,
I think, wait a minute, it's just,
right?
you have that back?
Bring that back, please.
You sent that down,
Did I?
I think. Isn't that the second page?
Put in the subdivision right near that motor.
Third page, Thomas?
Without
Yeah. That's about the land and stone.
Same side as the, West Street Motors, just a little bit
Yeah.
past it.
Right.
Let me see that.
So I used to live at West Street Motors and then it was, everything else was beyond that. I don't allow it to be my land.
You're right.
Yeah.
There's a guy on that street, he's got a motorcycle in his window.
Signature, page on
Get a
that.
kick out of it, time I go by. Train was
Sorry,
great,
Phil.
like,
Even
Harley
though
Davidson
it's signs.
It's here, Phil.
Okay.
it's the funniest thing you go by.
You pick that up.
Right here then.
Right. Next item is the land purchase installment agreement relative to a lot identified as map 15 as lot 4.
Yes. Simone's taken the opportunity to put together the installment contract for your review. This property is at map 15 lot 4. It's about 10 acres, a little over 10 acres of land. There's no building upon it. Presently, we estimate after 2018 real estate taxes after 4/1 will be $3,012.24 that will be owed on this property. The owner has already provided a check for $250 and has indicated to us that over the next several weeks they'll continue to pay. So we thought maybe it was a good opportunity to perhaps put together an installment agreement and allow these folks to get this back in their names.
Where is this?
It's off of, you go up Campground Road,
Yeah?
it's to the left if you head towards Route 1. Is it Nick's Way?
There's a next way out there.
Yeah.
At the end of Nick's Way, there's 10 acres out there that belongs to these folks.
I've never heard of Backwoods Lane.
I think Backwoods Lane, Nick's goes this way and Backwoods goes like this along. I don't know if it's a paper street, I've never been out there, or if it's actually a road that,
I don't think it's paper.
okay.
So are we requiring monthly installments?
Yes, we would require it.
How much? It doesn't say.
We sort of left it open. If you guys had a suggestion, I was thinking, you know, I mean, we got one for $250, maybe we can get $250 a month out of them. You know, we pay for it.
I don't think we should have 4, 5, 9, or 12.
Okay.
I would X all of that.
Okay.
I mean, if there was a building on the property, you could hit it even,
Okay.
because it's vacant lot, you gotta get insurance. There's no need to record this.
Okay.
And we already are superior to any mortgage, so why would we pay for a mortgage? But that's just my thoughts.
Now, if they default, Tom, and we take possession with 5.
We still have it.
It's already ours.
It's already ours.
Oh,
We own it.
Oh,
This is just an opportunity for them to try to regain ownership of it.
so I make a motion that we accept this land purchase installment as amended by Tom, elimination of number 4.
5, 9, and 12.
5, 9, and 12, and that we set the monthly payment at $250.
A second to that?
second.
Any further discussions or questions? All in favor then?
What I'll do is this page won't change, so
Right.
based on that, I'll send this along.
Okay.
No.
No, that's my copy, okay. You got that.
Thank you.
Ken, Accounts payable and payroll warrants, need approval.
So, second.
All in favor?
There are 3 places, 3 different ones to sign.
Any other business, gentlemen?
Everything all set with the fish spill?
That was in Kennebunk.
Yeah, Route 35.
Oh, the trade was in Kennebunk.
Wasn't ideal,
Yeah. Perfect.
but it certainly got a lot of press and they were right after him hard, didn't they?
Thank God it was cold. Can you imagine that stuff leaking down over the pike? Oh, jeez.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second?
Second.
Well, I'll give it to you, Phil.
Alright. Phil's got the second on the adjournment motion, all in favor?